Hi, I'm Richard Bell, and this is my presentation on the attribution theory and the locus of control. So attribution is simply put, students place blame for their success and failure on a specific combination of things. And so we identify how these things work, whether or not they're internal or external, or whether or not they're stable or unstable, and whether or not they can be controlled or there's something outside of the student that cannot be controlled. And where the student places this blame or attributes these successes and failures is known as the locus of control. A lot of this isn't going to make sense until we see the table on the next slide, but essentially it falls either in external or internal, so whether or not it's within the student or outside of the student. And then stable or unstable establishes whether it lies with the perceived immutable, like the student's, like their ability, or the activity itself, which is the inherent difficulty of the task, or something that can change more easily, like the amount of effort they put into doing the task, or a lot of other mitigating factors that relate to success or failure, which is basically like dumb luck, for example, like you cram for a test the night before and you happen to cram directly on the section that like over 60% of the questions are on, and so you do really well. That would be something that would be like that. And so now it all comes together in kind of like a Punnett square sort of situation, where if you have an internal stable locus of control, you're probably going to focus a lot on your own inherent ability. And if you have, we'll see in an example later in the next slide, if you have an external stable sort of locus of control, you're going to concentrate on the difficulty of the task. Usually the students that have this, whenever they're successful, they say, oh, that was easy. Or whenever they struggle, they relate their failure or their success to the difficulty of the task. Moving forward on that, it would be an unstable version would be, oh, I didn't put enough effort into passing that test. Had only I crammed harder, or had only I paid attention more, then I would have done better in that test. Seems a little bit more inherently healthier, probably. And then external is just like, well, I got lucky. I actually had a student who's like this all the time. I happened to study the exact part that I needed to study, and Mr. Bell, you had 10 questions that were all about knife safety, and that's the one that really resonated with me, so I was just lucky. Teacher behavior would be under external or unstable, and is a great and oftentimes blamed thing in my classroom. So here are some examples from my actual class. I was thinking about this. So I have a 9th grade student named Allie. She has what's a stable internal, not necessarily positive. She happens to think that she says aloud a lot that she is stupid, and generally attributes all of her failures or successes to her being stupid. Or then whenever she succeeds, she's like, I'm super smart. She likes to do that a lot, almost to the point that I've actually made a deal with her, and I keep a tally on the board in the room that whenever she makes fun of herself, I put a tally on the board. If she gets 10 per week, she actually has to come see me during advisory, and it's kind of like a deterrent for her to insult herself. The opposite of that is a senior that's in my first hour. His name is Zeke. He is perpetually late. He's an extremely bright kid, kind of a little bit beyond the pale, smarter than the rest of his classmates, and he attributes everything to the class being actually very easy. It's sort of kind of in the stage of his life. I think it's a dangerous place to be, especially going off into college, where sort of the grit of the situation, of his ability to just get up when he gets knocked down is super important. And then finally there's Jury, who's 9th grade. She's a Saudi Arabian refugee. She has a very hard time dealing with the amount of effort that she puts into anything. She happens to think that she either doesn't put enough effort into something or she puts too much effort into it, and she generally resents either. And then whenever she's really successful and she kind of walks the line really well, she kind of switches over to the external, stable sort of ground locus of control. I think it's really important to say that the locus of control can move from time to time, and that all of those factors are often enough related into the actual success and failure of the student at any given time. This is mainly speaking towards what the student actually attributes their success and failure to, not what the reality actually is. Thanks so much for listening to my presentation, and have a good day.